Hello guys. Hello.
Hello, Veera.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi
hi.
Veera.
I'm
Morning.
checking my
Hi, Veera.
mic actually. Okay. So my voice and everything is fine, right?
It's fine.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
Veera.
good.
Okay. Okay. So in last class I have shared the document to creation of AWS account. So is there any luck to create or any doubts on this? Any doubts on this or
No, no doubts.
you guys are created that account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then okay, let's get started. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so the first important service in AWS is EC2 guys. So EC2 is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. So Elastic Compute Cloud. So why we are using this term Elastic? So as we know, AWS EC2 is a server service. So for example, on premises and we just call like this is server and data center and like that, right? In AWS, the server is nothing but EC2 only. So there is no any server name in the AWS. So if I call EC2 means you need to understand this is AWS server. Same thing in Azure also. Is Azure Server Service is VM, Azure Virtual Machine. Okay, so different cloud we have a different names. So Elastic Compute Cloud is nothing but it's a server. It's a server. So guys, we need to understand one important thing here. So server is nothing but this is the server. So server end. So we have to understand we have a main three important layers. The first layer is hardware and the second layer is operating system. So here is app. So if you can see my application is running on server. In this case, what we can understand, my application is deployed on server. So in this case, what we can understand, this is client. Client is nothing but our request. Okay, so if you can see guys here, client is nothing but who can request the resources. So client is nothing but So as a client, I'm requesting something here. Requesting something here. So in this case, what we can understand, so client and server architecture is nothing but if I access flipkart.com, I'm the client. Whenever I hit the Flipkart, my request will go to Flipkart server and I will get a page back. In this case, what we can understand, so I have requested Flipkart page as a client. As a client, I have requested Flipkart page. So the request will go to exactly Flipkart server only. Okay, request has to go Flipkart server. So client is nothing but who can request the resources. So my request is Flipkart. So in this case, the request will go to Flipkart server and server will give response back to client. So in this case, server serves the request as per the client request. So what we can understand, what is server means, which gives response client request. Which gives some response as per the client request. So in this case, what I can understand, so whatever public and client are, they will request the resources to the server. Server will give the response back to the client machine. In this case, what we can understand, the server has to respond as per the client request. In this case, as a developer, so developer develop the request, so developer develop the application. So DevOps team deploy this code into the server. Server will give the response to the public. So here we have to understand few scenarios. Deploying application is not only the DevOps job here. Okay, so we have to maintain this application always up and running. In this case, if you can see, client is nothing but a group of users. I can say here group of users. Yeah, if you can see here, my users, yeah. So if my users, multiple users are there, means what we can understand is here. Yeah, multiple users are there means, okay, multiple users there means what we can understand. So these are all the clients. The traffic is more on the server. If the users are increasing means the requests are increased. If the requests are increased, means the request has to go your server. So indirectly, if the client's requests are increased, server and load will increase. In this case, so you are the responsible to maintain the server up and running and give the request back to clients. The client's requests are increased, even though you have to provide the server always up and running. So in this case, if the server is there in the on premises, so it's very difficult to maintain the multiple requests. Maybe the load is increased immediately means your server scaling is very difficult into the on-premises. To increase the server hardware, the configurations to decrease the server configuration is very difficult in the on-premises. The increasing the server configurations and decreasing the server configuration is nothing but what? Scaling of the server. But here in the cloud, EC2 is nothing but what? Elastic means we can increase, we can stretch, we can increase or we can decrease. So they are providing that in the EC2, they are providing some advantages. So these are uh, we won't get in the on-premises. In this case, Elastic Cloud is nothing but AWS cloud providers provides the some benefits if you can use the EC2 server. So EC2 server is nothing but we can increase, we can scale up, we can scale down. Okay, so here what we can understand, if we can use the EC2, we will get high availability. High availability is nothing but the important factor is in the high availability is scaling. So as per the client request, as per the load, we can increase the server configurations, we can decrease the server configurations. So if we can use the EC2 AWS cloud, we can achieve very easily. That's what we need to understand EC2 server. Even in the DevOps, we have to discuss so many tools here, like Jenkins and Kubernetes and Docker. These are tools, right? To run those tools, we have to configure in any one of the server. For example, Jenkins server is nothing but what? If you take a one server, if you install the Jenkins in the server, that server is called Jenkins server. If you take a normal server, if you install the Docker into the server, that is Docker server. If you take a normal server, if you install the Kubernetes, that is Kubernetes server. It's nothing but those Jenkins installations and Docker installations and Kubernetes installations, if you install in on-premises server, as we can understand, we have so many challenges. So if you install those configurations into cloud manager server, so as we can understand cloud server, we can give the scalability, high availability. So in that case, simply we can achieve the high availability if we can use the cloud servers. So DevOps plus AWS is nothing but our DevOps entire tools configurations we can do in AWS manager servers only. So even the projects also, the whatever applications we are going to deploy into the servers, those servers are AWS EC2 instances only. If the project is on AWS cloud, if the project is on Azure cloud, those are Azure VMs. If the project is there on GCP, those are Google cloud. So what we can understand, as per the client request, as per the client requirement, we have to choose the cloud. So if we can understand AWS EC2, so for Azure VM and GCP VM, we can easily understand. That's what. So in this case, we have to understand a few steps here. So when I say EC2 guys, the required steps to creation of EC2. So definitely, if you want to deploy any application, if you want to configure any DevOps tool like a Jenkins and whatever, first we have to create server. So this server is nothing but EC2, creation of EC2 AWS. So we have to understand what kind of configuration is required to create a server. So here we need to understand very important thing here. If I'm talking about here server means, so we have to understand we have a OS, we have a hardware. So the first important point, server, we need a OS. So we have to select operating system and then hardware. So here hardware is nothing but RAM, use disk. RAM, CPU and hard disk. So here these many configurations required if you want to create a server. For example, if we can go to any shop to purchase a laptop, so we have to say these many configurations required for my laptop. So I'm looking for a laptop with these configurations. So in that configurations, first of all, operating system is important, and then RAM is very important, and hard disk very important. So these are our requirement. As per our requirement, you can go to the shop. These are the requirement. Is there a laptop with these configurations? Yes, if they provide the same laptop, you can purchase the laptop. So what we can understand, even if you can purchase a laptop, the required configurations you have to select. The same thing, server and laptop. The operation point of view, both are same. There is no difference. But when I say server, we can get the high configurations device. The laptop is portable device, but operations are both are same. If you deploy any application in laptop, we are not supposed to give laptop access to public. Even the public requests, your laptop will not support. But server, it's not like that. Server is a traditional device, so we can create with the high configurations to support client request. In this case, so what we can understand, if we want to create a server, these many configurations we have to pass it. So definitely
Veera, sorry to
creation
disturb
of
you.
instance.
Yeah, Veera, there
Yeah.
is a lot of background noise coming in the session while you are teaching.
My end.
Yeah, from your end.
Let me check now. Okay, what about now?
Yeah, the voice is clear, but it is like echoing.
Actually, I'm taking class in my in my office actually.
Okay, okay. Okay, then no worries. Please
uh,
continue.
so in the cafeteria, no one is there. So that's what maybe you're getting some
It's
echo
okay,
of
it's
the
okay.
background.
If possible only, try for the possibility. That's it. It's okay. You can carry on.
It's so now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, but just a little bit echoing. But you can continue.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, thanks,
So
Veera.
here, yeah, no problem. So what we can understand here actually. So if you want to create any AWS server or Azure server or a GCP server, these configurations are important first. So in this case, you have to pass these many configurations to create a server. But we need to understand one thing. So selecting a OS and selecting of hardware and selecting of the hard disk. These three are mandatory configurations to create a server. But along with these configurations, we have to understand a few more configurations. So the other configurations are, the first one is authentication. Okay, authentication is required. So authentication is nothing but if you purchase any laptop, after purchase the laptop, definitely you have to provide, you can provide the password and key pattern and whatever it is, right? The kind of authentication same in this. If you create any server, we have to provide some authentication. This authentication is can who can access the server. It will be helpful to provide the authentication. For example, if I create a server, so what we can understand, this server AWS is providing, but here we need to understand one thing. AWS will provide the background dependencies only, but the authentication, whatever the regarding authentication and all, we have to provide. In this case, what we can understand, even whatever server you are creating in the AWS providers also they are not accessing. In this case, there is, they don't have any access to your creating server. So what we can understand, even though while we are creating the server, our password, like authentication, we can provide that no one can access, even AWS also. So in this case, what they are trying to say, we are enabling the security also for the your server. Even AWS providers also, we don't have any access to access your server. So this authentication means while creating kind, so we have to create some key pair. This key pair is help to access your server only, you only. You can only access the server. In this case, key pair will help. So the first step is required OS is required, hardware is required, hard disk is required, CPUs and RAM. Along with that, authentication also required. And one more important thing we need to understand here, network. So what is network here? So guys, the network is nothing but, so we can create multiple servers. Excuse me. So we can create multiple servers in AWS. When I say multiple servers, so AWS will provide, global access. In the global access, we have a different regions. For example, if I create an instance in Mumbai region, or if I create an instance in US region, so as per the region, we can select the network. So the network is nothing but it will provide a access permissions, security permissions, or like a inside some different business logics. We can create a different networks. For example, this server is public server. If you create a server to give a public access, so we have to create a public network. For example, this server no one can access, only we can access internal team only after deploying this application. In this case, we have to create a private network. So the network will help to who can access, who cannot, and also where we can deploy the server. Okay, in this case, this network will help. So definitely while creating the server, we have to choose where we need to create a server and which network we can create a server. So this network concept we can discuss in detail and coming classes. So this is just very high level understanding the whatever steps are required to create a server. Okay, so OS is required, hardware is required, RAM and CPU hard disk is required, authentication is required, and network is required to create a one server. So what we can see now, I'm trying to show you how to create a server first, very high level, and then we can explain each and every step in detail. So these many configurations required to create a one server in AWS. Okay, so definitely as a DevOps engineer, so we have to understand how to create a server and how to manage a server. The reason in any project, the DevOps engineer's role are not only deploying the application, even creating an infrastructure also DevOps engineer role. Okay. So in this case, first we need to understand how to create a server, what kind of approaches we have to create a server. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen here. Sorry, I'm sharing that AWS management, how console, how to log in and all. I think I have already shared you that document, how to create an account. So even I will share after this class how to create insert instance and all. I have documents with me, so the document really very help you to how to create a different services in AWS. Yeah. So let me log out and show you from the scratch how to log in AWS account after create it. Okay, so here, see guys, we have a two kind of approaches, okay, to log in your AWS account. So here, IAM user, if you can see IAM user, so we can discuss later for IAM user. Regarding root user, we have to focus here. Root user is nothing but while creating AWS account, we are giving username and password. So by using those credentials, we can log in AWS account. So if you can see, while creating time, I have given this mail ID. So this is my root user email address. So if you want to log in your AWS, excuse me, if you want to log in your AWS account, we have to give your root user email address. So after that, whatever password you have provided while creating AWS account, you have to provide here. So if anyone is facing, the creating of AWS account, you can call me even after complete this class also. So I will explain. Okay. So in your end, you can see kind of page. So these are the all services. If I click here, we can see what kind of services AWS is providing here. So as I discussed in the why only AWS, in the last class we discussed, right? AWS offers 200 plus services. So these are the services: storage services, database services, application services, and server services, serverless services, so many services. But here, as a DevOps engineer, we have to learn at least five to six services. Those are very important for DevOps journey. So out of all services, the first important service we should learn, that is EC2. So if I click on EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, this is the service we are discussing now. In your case, you have to search in the search box EC2 like this. So it will open the EC2 page here. So this is the dashboard of EC2. So what we can understand here, instance is nothing but server. EC2 instance is nothing but EC2 server. Okay, if you click on this, okay, so my end already two instances are running. The meaning is two servers are running. So in AWS, so we have a different regions. So we'll discuss later the regions concept and availability zones concept. If you can see in the right corner, these are the list of regions. Okay, these are the list of regions. We have a North Virginia, we have a California, we have a Ohio region, we have a Oregon, Hyderabad, Mumbai. So different regions. So here, if the client requirement is, the project has to develop in the India. In this case, we have to select any one of the region, Hyderabad or Mumbai. If the client is looking to develop the project in the US, we have to select the US regions. So depends on the client requirement, we have to choose the region here. I mean, what we can understand, if I choose the region here, for example, if I choose the Mumbai, so my request is in Mumbai region only, not for US, not for other regions. Okay, so by selecting the regions, we have to create a resource. Okay, so it is loading now. Okay, so guys, as we discuss here, so launch instance is nothing but creating a server. Okay, so if I click on launch instance, the first step to create a server. So if I go here, the name is nothing but server name. Okay, so if you are creating a multiple servers, so we have to give the name of the server here. I'm giving here test. So if you can see here, we have a different OS. So as we discuss here, to create a server, the first important factor is what? OS. Why OS is required? Without operating system, we cannot access application in the server. Operating system, as we know, it will work like an interface between user and hardware. In this case, operating system is very important here. So here, if you we have different so these operating system are different distributions in the Linux and Windows. So what we can see here in the Linux classes, I will start Linux classes also shortly. In the Linux classes, we will discuss what are the distributions Ubuntu, Red Hat, and SUSE Linux. So at this time, we can understand Amazon Linux. And just click on here. In this case, what we can understand, I have selected operating system for my server. My server name is test. Okay, so if you can see instance type is nothing but hardware, guys. So if you can come here, after operating system we need hardware for the server. In this case we have to choose what which what kind of what kind of RAM and hardware and hard disk CPUs we have to select here. So if you can see, the instance type is nothing but CPUs and RAM. For example, my server is required on CPU 1 GB RAM. In this case, you can select T2.micro. So by changing the instance type, we can change the hardware selection. For example, if I go here, T2 medium. In this case, I can select two CPUs, 4 GB RAM. If I select T2, T3 medium, 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM. So what we can understand here, we can select the hardware by choose the instance type. By choosing the instance type, we can select the server hardware. Server hardware is nothing but CPU and RAM. But here the very important step we need to understand here, free tier eligible. So AWS provides 750 hours free of cost to do the practice. In this case, the 750 hours they will give only for free tier eligible servers only. But the process of the process of the the process of the server creation and operations, everything is same. But the free tier and other different tiers, the process and the operation, everything is same. But AWS provides to do the practice this T2 micro T2.micro as a free of cost. Free of cost is nothing but 750 hours. So in this case, if I select the T2.micro, so we will not get any bill. So till 750 hours we will not get any bill. When I say 750 hours is nothing but, if I launch the server will start the process. Start the process is nothing but it is ready to serve the request. In this case, it will count the number of hours. For example, if I start the server now, after 1 hour, if you terminate the server, so system can understand the server running hours is 1 hour. In this case, it will support 750 hours. Okay. If you launch 10 servers, each server is running duration is 2 hours, means 10 into 2, so 20 hours you have practiced today. So will remaining hours is 730 hours. So like that, system can calculate the running hours of the server. So, and after selecting the hardware, so key pair, as we discussed, authentication is mandatory for any server. My authentication is here key pair. So here I can choose the key pair. So the key pair is nothing but here. So here the key pair will provide the authentication of the server. So if you can see, you can use the key pair to securely connect your instance. Ensure that you have access to the select before you launch the instance. I mean, if I create any key pair now, by using that key pair only, I can connect the server. For example, I'm going to create one key pair. So what we can understand, key pair is nothing but, so if you purchase any laptop, if you purchase any mobile, we are providing some key pattern, right? The key pattern or key password or face lock and whatever. Same here also, I'm creating a new key pair is nothing but I'm providing a locking mechanism for my server, so no one can access. So in this case, I'm creating a new key pair. So I'm giving so my key pair name is, I'm just giving test US. So this is the key pair name I'm going to provide for my creating server. So if you can see, 2 different key pair types are there, RSA or ED25519. So both are same, but these main difference is encryption. So whenever you can create key pair, the background encryption will enable for that key pair. Okay, so if you can see the key pair, even you we are not understand the key pair. The reason the background, the encryption is enabled for here. So in this case, so the two kind of types mean nothing but if you choose a RSA, they will provide different encryption. If you choose ED25519, they will provide different encryption. So you can choose any one of the type. This is for just providing encryption the background. And here, private key file format is nothing but we have a two kind of formats. Whenever you create a tester.us key pair, if you select a .pem, the key file will be created the extension of .pem like this. If you select a .pem, if you select a .ppk, it will create like this. So what is the use .pem and .ppk? So .pem is to we can connect the server by using SSH. Okay, but if you use the .ppk, we have a putty tool. So we have a different third-party tools to connect a server. Those tools are putty tool, mobextem tool, git bash. So many tools we have to connect a server. So if I use .ppk, only putty tool can connect. For example, if I open putty tool here, so this is the tool to connect a server from my local laptop to AWS. So whenever after launching completion of my server, I need to connect the server. To connect the server, we can use the third-party tool. So the third-party tools are Putty, okay, Mobextem, and Git Bash. We have so many options. So if you want to use Putty tool, the key format should be PPK. That's the meaning here. If you create a .pem format, if you want to use the putty tool, in that case you need to convert again .pem into .ppk. Otherwise, if you choose directly .ppk, you can use without any modification. That is the meaning. Except putty tool, if you use any other tools, you can use the .pem. So there is a difference here, .pem and .ppk. Anyway, we can see in the coming classes the connection and all here. So I'm generating a key for my server. See, whenever I click here, key is downloaded into my local. See, key is downloaded into my local. This is the key. If I open this key, see, encrypted format. I have selected RSA encryption. That's what my key is, RSA encryption. We have a one more encryption, ED25019. If you select that one, you can see ED encryption, but finally key is same. The difference encryption may apply here. Okay. So what is the use of this key? So what is the use of this key here? So while creating a server, we have to this key pair. After that only your AWS server authenticate your request. Otherwise, if you without this key, if you try to connect your AWS server from the any laptop, the AWS server deny the request of your authentication. In this case, this key is mandatory. Okay, and next step is network setting. Just now we discussed, right, the network part is very important for launching a server. So OS is required, hardware is required, and authentication is required. Along with this, network also very important. So this server, and which region you are going to create a server. When I say region, just now we discussed, right? So as the kind requirement, we have to choose the region. Mumbai region, India region, US region, UK region. So as per the region, we have to select the network. So for example, I'm creating a server in Mumbai region. If you change this here, the region, so your request will go. If I choose North Virginia, my request will go North Virginia. If I choose Hyderabad, my request will go Hyderabad. If I choose Mumbai, my request will go Mumbai. So in this case, the network will create in Mumbai region. So the what is the use of the network? So we have inside the region we have a different concepts, VPC, subnet. What is the use of this VPC subnet? We will discuss in detail coming classes. But these are network related information. So for example, if your server is running, so here to connect the server, the network selection is very important. So which network your server is running? If I'm trying to connect your server, you have to provide your network details. So that only I can connect the server. I can access the server. In this case, the network part is very important to create a server. So which network this server is creating, we have to define here. So here the network, in the network, we have a VPC, subnet and security group. Just I'm writing here, comes network, the networking concepts, we have a VPC and subnet and security groups. Okay, so these three entries are comes under networking. Okay, these three entries are comes under networking concepts. So to create a server along with this OS, along with this hardware, along with this hard disk authentication, you need to understand network concept. Okay, and network under network these entries will come VPC, subnet, security groups. So what is a VPC, what is the subnet, what is the security group, we will discuss next class. But first we need to understand creation of server. After that we will give the clarity on networking concepts. So here if you can see, I'm selecting default network. Default network is nothing but whenever you create a AWS account, AWS will provide default network. So we are no need to create any network. Directly we can create a server, AWS provided network. This is for just practice only. But in real time, we have to create our own network. We are not supposed to follow provided network by default. This is for just testing only. So if you can see any region, if you switch any region, AWS provides default network to create your server to do the practice. This network real time we have to create. Network is nothing but here VPC part, subnet part, security group part. At this time, just park aside, I'm creating a server default network only. So what is the network? Monday class we can discuss in detail. Okay, what is the security group also? And the last important step is hard disk. So far we have selected name of the server, key pair and instance type, means CPUs and hardware. But last step is what? If you can see here, hard disk, hardware comes under hard disk also there, right? So but RAM and CPU already selected in the instance type end, but hard disk is pending, right? So this is the hard disk step. Configuration storage is nothing but hard disk step. So see, by default I'm able to create 8 GB hard disk. If you want, you can increase here. Okay, so you can increase till 30 GB only in detail. Or if you are going with different different families of instances, like we are using T2 micro. If you go for different families, like different types of instances, different configurations, we can select up to 16 TB also this one. Okay, so by default is 8 GB. So hard disk is 8 GB by default it can create. So once again I'm going to discuss steps we have selected here. So by creating a server, the first step is name of the server. The second step is OS, selection of OS. OS is very important for server, right? OS will work like an interface between user and computer or server. So you know that whatever request we are giving to server, that is high level language. When I say high level language, English or human understandable language, right? English or Hindi, whatever it is, but system can understand only binary language. So here operating system work like a translator, take the request from the users and it is converting into the binary language. It will give to the server hardware, and again server will give the some response back to the as per the client request. Again operating system will convert into the human understandable language. So what we can understand here, operating system converts the request high level language to low level language and vice versa, human understandable language to machine understandable language, that is binary language. So definitely operating system is required for any server. And again, instance type, as I discussed, instance type is nothing but selection of hardware and CPUs. So server performance depends on this instance type only. Instance type is nothing but hardware and CPU. So definitely our mobile performance or laptop performance depends on your hardware only, right? Same thing, while choosing the config you are going to select here, depends on this configuration, your server will give performance. So if I select 1 GB 1 CPU, one kind of performance. If I select here 2 CPUs 8 GB RAM, so the performance is different. But free tier we have to choose 1 CPU 1 GB RAM only. And after that, authentication key pair is very important, right? Yes. And after that, network, and after that, hard disk. So if I launch an instance, my instance is going to create here. Okay, if you can see, if I refresh here, so on the name of the test, one instance is going to create. So it is a pending state. It will take some time for initialization process, like a 1 minute only. See, now running state. So this is very first class, the creation of EC2. So in the coming classes, we can discuss what is health status checks and everything we can discuss in coming classes. Anyway, so this is server creation process. So till here, any questions from your end?
No, Veera. No, Veera.
I'm good, Veera.
Anyone?
No, Veera.
You clear? Yeah, okay. So guys, as I discussed here, we have a multiple steps to create a server, right? So the steps are, okay, the steps are, if I launch an instance, so one is the name, and other is operating system, and other is instance type, and other is key pair, and other is network setting, and other is hard disk. So what we can plan now, each step we can discuss in details now. Okay, so the first step is the important key pair. So today we'll complete key pair step in detail, and later we can focus networking. And I think hardware no need to explain, right? Hardware is nothing but store the data. So here in AWS, hardware is nothing but EBS. How we can call server is nothing but EC2 instance in the cloud, right? Same, the hardware name is in AWS EBS volume. Okay, in Azure, Azure storage, in Google, Google storage, but the functioning of the hard disk is same everywhere, even on premises, in the local laptop, in the cloud instance, everything is same. So hard disk is a mandatory step, that's what it is giving in the AWS creation. Okay, so here we need to understand two important things, network and key pair. Remaining you can easily understand. Instance type is nothing but selecting a number of CPUs and RAM. So but key pair and network settings we have to spend some time to understand. So today in this class I will give the key pair, what is key pair and all we will discuss in detail. So guys, whenever create a key pair, one key is downloaded in my local app, right? The key is not here. If you can go here, so this key is downloaded automatically into my local laptop. Okay, so let's go to the take one pane here. So while creating instance, key pair is a mandatory step. So that's what we are focusing here. What is key pair? So key pair is authentication. There is authentication of the server. Okay, authentication of the server. So by using this key pair only, connect the server. Okay, by using key pair only, we will connect the server. So key pair. So pair is nothing but two keys. Okay, pair is nothing but two keys. So two keys. What are those? One is public key. There is private key. Okay. So here we need to focus what is public key and private key. So guys, if you observe here, while creating the key pair, one key is downloaded, right? This key in the local. This key. This key is private key. So what I can say? Locally downloaded key. Private key. And where is the public key here? Public key is it will download inside the server. Okay, downloads inside the server. Why inside the server key is required? So download the inside server. Inside server is that is public key. Sorry. So why public key is down? Why we need to? I mean, system has to download one key inside the EC2 instance. The reason system has to authenticate your request, right? If you are trying to connect, system has to authenticate. So this request is authorized request or not. So what I'm trying to say here, so this is my laptop. Okay, this is my laptop. This is my laptop. And also, this is my colleague. Okay, this is my colleague. So I have created an instance. I have created an instance. See, while creating time, okay, so whenever create an instance, okay, if you create a key pair, if you create from this laptop, okay, if you create from this laptop, so inside laptop one key will be downloaded, right? Just know if I so while creating time, I so my end also one key is downloaded, right? That is private key. This is my server. This is my laptop. Okay. So whenever the key will be downloaded in your laptop at the same time, one key will be downloaded inside the server. Inside the server. This is public key. Now, nothing but combination of public and private. Private key will download it in your local laptop. Public key will be downloaded in the same server. Okay, public key will be downloaded in the same server. So my key name is what? Test US. Test US, this is private. This is test US public. Okay, now if I try to connect server from my laptop, the request will go first from here. Server can validate. So in his end, private key is there or not? Yes. So if you want to connect a server, in one of the step is upload your key. So which key? Private key. After upload private key to connect a server, the request will go to server. It will validate in server and with public key. So system server can validate server and already public key is there, right? While you are creating time, private key will be down, private key already downloaded in your laptop. At the same time, the respective public key is downloaded into the server inside. I will show you, after creating the server, once we connect the server, where exactly public key will be stored. Private key will be stored in my downloads. Public key will be stored. There is some path inside the server .ssh and authorized keys. Inside the path, public key will be stored. So whenever requesting the connection from local laptop to server, server will validate the request after upload the key. Okay, my key in his and key, both are same or not? If both are same only means it will allow the request to connect the server. Authentication got success here. Two handshake will happen here. One hand is public, one hand is private key. So both can same only you can able to connect the server. And my colleague also trying to connect the server. So my colleague and private key is not there, right? So definitely he is unable to connect the server. But if I share this key to my colleague, so my colleague also, while creating time, if he will upload the private key, server and same public key is there, my colleague also will connect successfully of the server. So this is the authentication process of the server. For example, if I take your laptop, if I try to connect from your laptop to my I'm creating server, definitely it is not possible. But if I send private key from my local laptop to you, you can try to connect the server with help of this private key. Is this clear till here? So till here clear, guys? Any doubts? What is
Yeah, I'm
key
good,
parameter?
Veera.
What about others?
I'm good, Veera, no doubts.
Okay. Anyway, this is theory, right? If I do it on practical, you can easily understand the process and all. Okay. So I think so Saturday there is no class, right? Only for 5 days in a week, right? Okay. Okay. So what we can plan Monday? So the connection of the server, whatever server we are creating in AWS, right? We will try to connect from the my laptop. So by giving the key pair and required credentials and all. Okay. So any questions from your end? If no questions, miss, I can wind up the call. So if you are facing any disturbance, sorry, actually I'm taking this class into my cafeteria. I got stuck in my office due to heavy rain in my place.
No, Veera. I'm
No
clear.
worries, no worries about that. Everything is good, Veera. So
I think
far.
fine, right? Okay, okay, guys. So let me know if you are facing any issues to create an account, to create a server. Anytime, as I said, anytime you can ping, I will connect. Still, if you are facing any challenges to create account or creating of the server, try your end. And don't forget, guys, after create a server, don't forget here, you have to delete it. If you can go here, the delete option is, so my server is running, right? Just click on the server. We have an instance right? Just terminate instance. If you want to stop now, also you can stop. Stop means just temporary, there is no operations from server end. So no bill also generate even. So stop means it will not comes under running hours. Whatever running hours 750 we discuss, right? It will not comes under 750 hours. So we can stop means no bill will be generated. Only bill will be generated for hard disk, that is EBS only. That is very minimal cost. If you want to terminate instance, right, you can terminate completely. Terminate means completely deleted, no server exists here. Stop means again we can start. So again I'm starting the server. Again inside whatever application is there, it will serve the request to the client. Client means whatever public are going to access that application. So if you want to terminate, completely you can terminate. So no server exists on the name of test. Okay. So we have to check here instance state only. So we can see here termination or shutting down completely. But even though it will take some time to, whatever the test we can see right here, after some time this test also we are unable to see, it will go on here from here. It will be deleted completely. Still it is shutting down. Okay, shutting down again. So terminated. So instance already terminated. So it will take some time to, so this one also delete from here. But terminated means already instance are terminated. You need to understand like this way. After some time, this will also delete from in this dashboard test also. It will take some time to update the APIs of the background. Okay, that's all to create a server. You can try your end. If you are facing any issues, take a screenshot. You can just send it me back, or you can just ping me. I will connect with you, and whatever the challenges, creation of server and all. Anyway, I will share the document how to create a server. Even the document you can go through it if you can easily understand. Clear, guys?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
clear,
Veera.
Vira.
Yes, Veera. Yes, Veera.
Okay. Okay. Case there is no doubt means we can wind up this call. So happy weekend to everyone. We can connect Monday at the same time. Okay. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.